Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Bear Report Podcast. This is the Bear Report Podcast, episode 67 for Thursday, September 14th, 2017. What's going on, everybody? BlackBerry Brad here for BearReport.com with thank you guys all for tuning in to the Bear Report Podcast. This is actually attempt number 3. We had some technical difficulties on the first show, and then we kind of got through the end of the show of the last one, but I forgot a topic, and I felt bad not putting that topic in because it's kind of a cool topic to talk about. But so, anyways, again, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for watching live on YouTube. If you're not live on YouTube, that means you're listening to us in the car or via your favorite podcast application, whether it's Google Play Music, whether it's iTunes or Stitcher that we just recently got involved with. But again, thank you guys for listening to the podcast via however you like to do so. Let's get right to the news. First things first, actually, before we get to the news, a couple of things we want to talk about. First, congratulations to the winners of the Evernote 3 months free of premium Evernote service. Those who won were notified the other day of them winning. We're send out codes. Thank you guys for your support. This is our anniversary month, pretty much. So we've been around for 9 years. The Bearport.com has been around for 9 years. So we figure out we give out do some cool contests. First one was the 3 months of free Evernote premium service. And some lucky winners got that. We'll do some more of those. I have some more promo codes to give away. I have to use them up by next month. So stay tuned for that. We also have another contest that's coming involving a case for a favorite phone of everybody's right now. So keep an eye on bearport.com. Keep an eye out on our YouTube channel too. We might announce it there. I don't know yet. We'll announce it, but we'll announce it somewhere. Stay tuned to follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you can get. Or pretty much via every social network, or even on Google Plus still, if anybody uses Google Plus. So go check it out there. But the other thing we kind of want to touch base on is the Apple announcement from the other day. I believe it's Thursday. Did the announcement happen yesterday or the day before? I forget. It's been a crazy week already. But Apple announced their new iPhones and the iOS 11 update that's coming down the pipeline. Apple announced that an iPhone 8, iPhone 8 Plus. So those two models are pretty much identical to the 7 right now and the 7 Plus. They just have the glass housing and some updated specs underneath. They're still running a 6-core processor, which they're kind of behind there. But they also announced the iPhone X, which is the pretty much device everyone's been kind of making fun of them for because of the fact that it's the iPhone 10. Sorry, I said it wrong. It's their 10th anniversary iPhone device. Now, don't get me wrong. If you use an iPhone, not making fun of you or anything like that. If that's your device of choice, that's your device of choice. The great part about this world is we can all use whatever device we want. iPhones are fine devices. They work. They get your day to, get you through your day probably. So don't take this as we're making fun of you for using an iPhone. I don't prefer an iPhone. As you can tell, I prefer a BlackBerry device. But anyways, the iPhone 10 has a couple features that we're kind of laughing at them for. First things first is wireless charging. They finally have wireless charging on iPhones now, which is kind of a big thing because the fact that now that Apple has it, a wireless charging will become more popular outside of the mobile atmosphere and with accessory makers and such like that. I personally, wireless charging is not a big deal to me. The Key 1 doesn't have wireless charging. It doesn't need wireless charging because of the amazing battery life from the Key 1. But wireless charging is kind of a weird concept. Especially, it's going to be weird for iPhone users because of the fact that they're constantly on that device. And the nice thing about plugging your device in while you're charging, some folks like to use their device while they're charging it, and it's not good for your device, but that's a different story. Now with wireless charging, if you decide to go the wireless charging route, you have to, when you want to use your device, you have to put it down, pick it back up, put it down, pick it back up. And my other gripe with the wireless charging, it's not that quick. It's fine if you put your device to charge wirelessly overnight, because most people sleep 8 hours. Unlike me, who gets a few hours of sleep, but most people sleep over 8 hour time frame or however long. That's enough time for your device to charge wirelessly if it's charging via a wireless map. The PRIV had the wireless charging, and we had the passports and other devices had wireless charging, but it was never a perfect solution or anything like that. I mean, I rarely use. I tried using wireless charging on the PRIV when it had it, but it just, for me, I never got used to using it. It was kind of just more of a pain in the butt than anything, and especially with the quick charging and such like that. It's a better option than wireless charging. However, if you want to do wireless charging in your iPhone 10, you have to pay $86 to get their charging stuff, their wireless charging stuff. So have fun with that, iPhone users. The other thing that they announced, so the iPhone 10 is a edge-to-edge display, so there's no more home button. So the only way to get out of applications is swiping up and swiping away that application. So us in the BlackBerry community kind of gave them gripes, and I gave them gripes definitely on my Twitter account for calling that revolutionary and innovative. We all know technically a lot of that concept came from Palm. BlackBerry, when they were developing BlackBerry 10, they brought a lot of the Palm team over to the BlackBerry 10 development team, and they used that swipe gesture that was really big, and it was nice to use in Palm, but it wasn't used as much in BlackBerry 10, I feel, or it wasn't as popular as BlackBerry 10 made it. And the fact that Apple was calling it revolutionary, where the fact that they took it from BlackBerry or stole the idea or concept from BlackBerry, so a lot of people have been making fun of them for that. So yeah, definitely. It's always fun to watch these Apple events. I'm sorry. The last thing that makes the iPhone 10 crazy and ridiculous is the price tag. So we talked about the price tag for the wireless charging, which is $86. The phone itself costs $999, $1,000 for the iPhone 10 base model. That nonetheless, and then I forget the price for the next model up. It's $1,000 for a phone that's, in my opinion, is not worth $1,000. I can go buy a bunch of Android devices, let alone I can go buy a bunch of 2 key ones pretty much for that price, and have a better experience and better hardware than I would on the iPhone 10. Now, again, if you're going to go buy it, by all means, have at it. Enjoy your phone. But personally, I think it's a waste of money. I think you could find a lot better products out there, smartphone products, than the iPhone 10 for that price. But so, I mean, it's ridiculous. It just makes me laugh. And it's always fun this time of year to watch iPhone users or Apple enthusiasts get excited about these things that, especially in the Android world, they've had for years. Wireless charging, I think 2013 was when wireless charging came about. So that was the Apple event. They also announced iOS 11. That's coming later this month. We'll get into that a little bit more. That's something that we wanted to talk about later on in the show. But let's get to the BlackBerry news. So for this week. So the first things first, last Friday on the UTB blogcast. Congrats, by the way, guys. You guys had their 100th episode of the UTB blogcast, and it's pretty astonishing. Keep in mind, I've been doing the Bear Report podcast technically since the first episode we aired was 2009-ish, I believe, and it's 2017. We're only on episode 67, but we did take a couple hiatuses over time being. But those guys, they're at episode 100 already. So during the episode last week, they had Alex Thurber from BlackBerry as their special guest, and he answered a bunch of questions. Definitely go check it out. I'll put a link in the description to the video below. But the one big question that he answered that seemed to kind of get a lot of attention was whether or not the BlackBerry PRIV would be updated to Android Nougat. Now, this has been a question that's been on a lot of BlackBerry PRIV owners' minds and a lot of BlackBerry fans out there. Will the PRIV get Android Nougat on it? In the very beginning, so slightly before the Key One launched, I was very positive that the PRIV was going to get Nougat. I talking to other friends and such like that, and BBM groups and such. I was pretty certain that Nougat would come to the BlackBerry PRIV, and I think at first BlackBerry was planning on getting Nougat onto the PRIV, but for some reason it just fell off the tracks. So Alex Server did confirm that the BlackBerry PRIV would not be getting the Android Nougat update. His reasoning was pretty much to get everybody involved, all the teams involved, to get the PRIV onto Android Nougat, which is a task that was impossible to do. And it's probably true. I don't think that is a false statement. I think there is probably a lot of folks on the team for the BlackBerry PRIV that if they wanted to get that device updated to Android Nougat, they would have to pull in a lot of resources that they just probably don't have anymore to get that device updated. So, personally, I know there's a lot of people out there that are just upset about the PRIV not getting the Android Nougat update. I know that there's tons of users out there that have been waiting to get this update, and now they're not going to get it. It's not going to get updated to the latest and greatest Android version, and then that kind of sucks. And personally, I agree. I understand your frustration. I understand the unhappiness towards this concept. But I also see the point of BlackBerry and where they're coming from with this. And there's a couple things that I kind of want to point out to this. First things first, if you look at the overall landscape of Android, and we actually just put this post up yesterday, there is only currently 15% of Android devices are running Android Nougat. There's about 33% that are still running Android Marshmallow. So, and there's this big thing in the Android world. Sorry. It's called fragmentation. And it's not a term just used in the Android world, but pretty much what it means is there's always been this issue in the Android world of getting devices updated to the latest and greatest OS. And they've suffered from this pretty much from the very beginning of Android, well before BlackBerry got involved in Android. And if you look at throughout the years, all the updates, a lot of current generation models of that year or that time frame get left behind and don't get updated to the latest and greatest software. So, there's a lot of devices that aren't going to get updated to Android Nougat from other OEMs. The BlackBerry PRIV is alone. Now, that's not a reason, good reason or anything like that for them not to do it, but that's just the pretty much just the what's the word I'm looking for? That is pretty much how things go in the Android world. It just doesn't happen. So the other thing that kind of I want to point out is personally, so the BlackBerry PRIV running on Marshmallow doesn't run very well, in my opinion. I know there's Android there's PRIV owners out there that will say that their PRIV's been running great, so no issues, and you probably are right. I also know there's a lot of BlackBerry PRIV owners out there that have had issues with their BlackBerry PRIV. I, for one, have had issues with mine in the past. I still go back to my PRIV from time to time. My key one's my daily driver, but every now and then I'll pick up my PRIV. I keep it around my desk. It's sitting right here with me. I'll keep it with me, and if I need to check something, like for instance right now my key one is over there charging on my nightstand, and I'll just use the PRIV as a way to access my phone calls or such through Google Voice or anything like that. But and recently I actually wiped out my BlackBerry PRIV, factory reset it, brought it back to factory settings, and kind of loaded some things back onto it. Didn't load everything on there. I'm an appaholic, I guess you could say. And, normally like on my key one, for instance, I have about 200 apps installed on there. And I use most of them per day, but I just love apps. I love finding new applications that help me throughout my day. But anyways, the PRIV right now has a very very small amount of apps on it currently. I had just kind of the basics on it right now. Wasn't really planning on putting any more onto there. So, and I just wanted to see how it would run. And at max, there's about 5 apps that are opening at the same time. My BlackBerry PRIV still gets very warm. Just using it, just the Google search something or scroll through BBM or very simple tasks. I'm not playing games or anything on it, and it gets warm. It gets pretty hot. It can get pretty hot. I actually got the warning last night, was it, or this morning, that my device is overheating and it's taking measures to cool down. The device is, like I said, barely using the device, and it's having issues like that. And I know there's people out there who've had the same issues about overheating and such and sluggishness. Again, the PRIV is a great device. Keyboard's great. I love the nice big screen to it. I love that slider mechanism was probably one of my favorite features on that device, and kind of a feature I kind of wish I had on the Key One, the ability to kind of get a bigger screen and take away that keyboard when I don't need to use it. But I personally don't think the PRIV would have handled Nougat very well. I mean, and I know Nougat's not that big of an update. I know it's not very resource hungry or anything like that. It actually should make the device a little bit better because of the changes that Google made on the back end and the coding of Android Nougat. But I don't know if it would handle it. And if it doesn't handle it, so say for some reason Android Nougat gets loaded up on the PRIVs and users, BlackBerry PRIV owners around the world have issues. What does BlackBerry do? BlackBerry doesn't have any customer service reps anymore. They don't make hardware and they don't make devices in the house anymore. So they don't really have any customer service managers or anything like that to help users having issues. Right now a lot of their knowledge base forums or such are all directed to Crackberry. That's all where that's all going. But if the PRIV has some issue loading up Nougat, they can't send everybody to Crackberry. So I mean, what happens there? So I really think that the fact of getting Nougat onto the BlackBerry PRIV is just too many things could have gone wrong. There's just too many negative things that could have happened or could have gone wrong with it. And keep in mind, Nougat's not really that, as I said earlier, Nougat's not really that big of an update. It's not, you're not really missing out any features. You're not missing, you're missing the ability to use 2 different apps at the same time with the dual screen. That's pretty much, there's really nothing too crazy in Nougat. And keep in mind, the PRIV will still get security updates. Alex Thurber did confirm that it will get security updates till 2018, which is probably around the time that Google will stop providing security updates for Marshmallow. So once Google stops providing security updates, BlackBerry can't roll out security updates without them. So I think you're if you're a PRIV owner, we put up an article that what does this mean for a PRIV owner. And if you're a PRIV owner, keep using your device as is. There's really no concern right now. You're not missing out on too much stuff on Nougat. You're still going to get your security update, so that device is going to be secure. My PRIV is currently sitting on the September update right now, and 2018 rolls around when they stop giving out security updates. You're probably going to be ready for another BlackBerry device, whether it's a BlackBerry device or not. So, again, I don't think you have much to worry about. I again agree it's a crappy situation to be in, but I understand why BlackBerry did it. Speaking of software updates, this past week, Apple announced that iOS 11 is coming starting September 19th to iOS users. So you'll have the ability to update your iPhone to iOS 11. And for those who are in the enterprise world, BlackBerry has guaranteed day 0 readiness for iOS 11. They've actually rolled out updates already to make their BlackBerry Enterprise Mobility Suite software day 1 or day 0 ready for iOS 11. So this pretty much helps these apps include BlackBerry UEM, BlackBerry Dynamics, BlackBerry Workspace, apps such like BlackBerry Work, BlackBerry Connect, and more. So those apps are now ready for iOS 11. Users should have updates in the App Store for those apps that will make sure that their device is good to go for iOS 11. This is big. I mean, any other company out there in the enterprise mobility software world will probably take a little bit of time to get their users iOS 11, their software iOS 11 ready. Some will take weeks, some will take a few months. BlackBerry has taken 0 days. It's ready now. It's ready to go. And that's big news for enterprise companies and IT managers and such. They don't have to worry about their end users getting these updates and it causing issues or any downtime as far as getting these updates rolled out to I know there's MDM software companies that give you ability to not roll out an update to make sure that it's ready for your company's resources and such. BlackBerry folks taking advantage of the BlackBerry Mobility Security Suite don't have to worry about that now because it's ready to go. That's huge. That's big news for BlackBerry. It's big news for enterprise companies that are using BlackBerry enterprise mobility software. And if you're not, it's just another reason to go use them. So go check out the article on bearreport.com for more details on that. Again, September 19th when iOS 11 rolls out, and enterprises are now ready to go. Speaking of devices, the BlackBerry Key, for the folks in Canada, the unlocked version of the BlackBerry Key 1 can now be purchased through Amazon Canada. Very big news, right? Up until a few weeks ago, the only way to buy a BlackBerry Key 1 in Canada was through a carrier, whether it's Rogers, Telus, Bell. Those are that was pretty much the only way to buy the BlackBerry Key 1. Now you have the ability to buy the BlackBerry Key 1 unlocked from places like Walmart, Staples, also Amazon Canada now, and it was great. And I know I get asked this a lot, so I kind of wanted to go over this in this topic. Why should I buy a BlackBerry Key 1 unlocked? What are the advantages? Why should I just not go to the carrier and say I want to buy the Key 1, put on my bill, and pay monthly for it? So to me, there's two big reasons, and if you have a view on this, give us throw a comment into the comments below in the video or on the post on bearreport.com how you feel. But personally, there's two reasons why. So the first reason is software updates, security updates. So if you think of the way software updates work with when the carrier is involved, when you buy a device from the carrier, this is how the software update works for BlackBerry Android devices for that matter. Google rolls out the update. They send it to BlackBerry. BlackBerry gets their coding onto it. They code up to their standards. They sign it, send it off to the carrier. The carrier now does their tweaking to it. They verify that it's up to their standards. They put some apps on there that they might want you to have, or they think you want on your device, and then they roll it out to you. So there's 4 players in that whole concept, in that whole process. You got Google, BlackBerry, and the carrier, and your device. So 3 major parts, minus you. That's a big step, and the last portion of that, the carrier, can take the longest. I know there's people out there that are using Key 1s that they bought from their local carrier, and they're still on July software and security updates. They haven't been updated to September yet. And if you're worried about making sure your device is up to date, that's a big thing. Making sure your BlackBerry device is secure, ready to go, and up to date. That's huge. So if you buy from a carrier, run into that issue. If you buy the device unlocked, the carrier gets taken out of that picture now. Now you just have to worry about Google getting into BlackBerry and then BlackBerry getting into your device. The first two, Google and BlackBerry are usually pretty quick, and they've been pretty quick. Google, it's their OS. They know what to do. They tweak it up, send it to BlackBerry. BlackBerry does their thing, verify it, secure it. Boom, it's on your device once they push it out. I know recently, there's been some unlocked devices that have run into delays and that stuff, and I think a lot of it has to do with BlackBerry handing things off to TCL a little bit more behind the scenes. But it's getting a little better, I believe. The past 2 updates have come through pretty quickly for me and for other users as well. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the big reasons why you should buy an unlocked device. The other reason is pretty much bloatware. You want to avoid all the extra apps on your device that you really don't need or you don't want, for that matter. This happens when you buy a device from the carrier. So the carriers they don't do it as much anymore they don't do it as much as they used to anymore. Sorry, can't talk. It's late. But they still do it. We had that story a couple of weeks ago of Sprint doing it with the BlackBerry key ones on Sprint, and they put some partner applications on in the device and send it off to the end users, and now the end users have these apps on their device that are taking up space on their device. The BlackBerry Key One has 32 gigs of internal memory, the silver edition for that matter. And if you don't have an SD card and you have all these bloatware apps on your phone now, there goes some of your storage space. So if you buy unlocked, you don't have to worry about those apps coming onto your device. Now you can get those apps. So for instance, some of the carriers put things on, like for instance, me, I use AT&T. AT&T will put has their bill pay app. So if you buy a device from them, that app's already pre-installed on your device. For some people that's fine, no big deal. But some people don't want that app on their phone. They just want to pay their bill on the internet or however they do it. But so that's another reason why you should, why I think it's better buying unlocked, because now you have more control over what's going on with your device, what's being installed in your device, and you can avoid the whole bloatware scene and make sure your device gets fully up to date as quickly as possible, right? So speaking of Sprint, Sprint actually has a pretty cool deal right now. If you are looking to buy your device from a carrier here in the US, Sprint is now giving you 50% off the BlackBerry Key One lease pricing. So pretty much what this means, or the details to it, is if you buy a BlackBerry Key One and choose their Sprint Flex leasing plan, and then you trade in a eligible device, Sprint will give you an $11 a month discount and make your payments now $11 a month. So normally, Sprint customers pay $22 per month for the BlackBerry Key One, and now if you trade in a device, you get it for $11 a month, which is a huge discount, right? 50% off is big. This is available to existing and current customers, or I'm sorry, existing and new customers, and a great deal if you're looking to buy your device from a carrier. And then you're looking at Sprint, that's a pretty big deal. The key, you can only buy the Key One from 2 different carriers right now. That's AT&T, AT&T and Sprint. AT&T right now is doing $18 a month. So now if you choose Sprint and go trade in your device, you are now getting the Key One for $11 a month. If you're looking to save money, that's the way to go. And don't be afraid. Sprint's a good carrier, and they've gotten a lot better over the years. They put a ton of money into their network to make sure it's up to date and speedy and quick and such. And so in most areas, I know a lot of Sprint users don't have any issues. I know in some spots they're still kind of iffy, but I definitely wouldn't worry about it. I would go check it out. You'll see what you can do. If you look at the fine print, you will see that the credits for the $11 per month will take about 2 bill cycles to hit your account. That's what we've been told by Sprint. But other than that, it's a pretty good deal. If you ask me, if you're looking for a Key One, again, like I said, if you're looking for a Key One in the US, looking to buy it from a carrier, go check out Sprint. It's a pretty cool deal. Speaking of deals, nice little segue there. BlackBerry kind of announced an interesting partner, or had an interesting announcement yesterday morning on their newswire. So BlackBerry and Timex Group. So Timex Group is the company that make the watches. If you go Google it, you'll find all their watches that they sell. BlackBerry and Timex Group agreed to a patent license agreement. Now, this is one of those strange news stories that we get from BlackBerry that's very short, has very little details to it. We don't really get any idea what's going on. The only thing that we were told pretty much is the financial structure. So the deal includes an ongoing royalty payment from Timex to BlackBerry. Everything else is confidential. So what is this deal? What could this deal mean? I think it has to do with the patents that BlackBerry has. So in the press release, they stated that BlackBerry has 40,000 worldwide patents and applications covering a wide amount of array of technologies, including wireless communications, networking infrastructures, acoustics, messaging, enterprise software, operating systems, virtualization, and cybersecurity. So my thought process is, sorry guys, Timex is looking to make some kind of watch that they want to use a patent for that BlackBerry has. Instead of going to fight with BlackBerry and try to get that patent from them and buy it from them, they have gotten into this agreement with BlackBerry that says, hey, we're going to use your patent with our product to help us make our product. And for doing so, we're going to give you a royalty payment for each unit sold, ongoing. We don't know how long it's going, but to me, in my thought process, that's what's going on here. You know, if you look at these watch companies, they're all, a lot of them are making smartwatches, Android Wear devices, and they probably need some kind of patent, technology that BlackBerry has a patent on, and the logistic way is for them to do this on this patent license agreement. It kind of works just like the device license agreements work. Right now BlackBerry is getting royalty payments from TCL and Aurora, or from BB Putai and Optimus for the devices that they're selling with their logos on it. So I really think that's what it is. Again, we don't have really much details on it. I'm sure we'll hear something come down the road, and when we do, we'll hopefully be a better understanding as far as what's going on with this patent license agreement from BlackBerry and Timex Group. If you want to go read the full press release, you can go over to bearport.com and check it out. Link is in the description below. Last things to talk about this week. So the BlackBerry Krypton, so this rumored BlackBerry device, all touch device. So the week before, so 2 weeks ago, it passed through the Bluetooth SIG certification. Last week, I believe, it went through the Wi-Fi Alliance to get certified for Wi-Fi usage. And so this week, it decided to make a stop at the FCC. Now, in the normal process of getting devices out, this is, it seems like the Krypton, this all-touch BlackBerry device from BlackBerry Mobile, is right on schedule. We know it's coming. Something's coming in October. If this probably is going to be it. If there's nothing else out there that's coming through any of this stuff. But we've seen it before. Devices are getting ready to be launched. They go through FCC, and then a little bit of time later, they're available to purchase. So not much news coming out of the FCC filing. The only thing that we did find is we have a confirmation on the battery that is being used. So for the longest time, the rumor was that the BlackBerry Krypton, or this all-touch BlackBerry device from TCL, was going to have a 4,000 milliamp battery to it. Now, to put it in perspective, as we've talked about numerous, one has a 3505 milliamp battery to it. The one gets for battery life. It's battery life on this device, and amazing. I started hearing rumors about the Krypton, and the all-touch device. We figured BlackBerry was going to, or TCL was going to do the battery life size a little bit, probably about a couple, up to maybe instead of a 3505 milliamp battery, bump it up to a 36 milliamp battery. But they surprised, but then the rumors started coming through saying that No, they're going to use a 4,000 milliamp battery instead. Which, at the time we thought, oh, it could be probably just a rumor, but I mean, if that rumor is true, heck, that's a great battery. The the Krypton being an all touch device, you have to take in consideration that bigger screen is going to take away from more battery life from you. They are using the same processor. It looks like it's the 625 or the 626 has been rumored as well, but pretty much identical to the 625. So we know that it's still going to get as good processing battery life out of it, and couple that with an even bigger battery life, you would think that there's even bigger battery, you're going to get better battery life out of the BlackBerry Krypton. So if you dig through the FCC filing, if you go to the link inside the post on bearreport.com, you can go check this out yourself. Your eyes, if you don't believe me, but they did list a 4,000 milliamp battery on this device right there on the FCC filing. The FCC filing to test the battery for the devices. So we have confirmation that the BlackBerry Krypton is rocking a 4,000 milliamp battery. That's exciting for this device. Not only is it waterproof, not only is it dust proof, not only is it a full touchscreen BlackBerry device, it should have amazing battery life to it. Now, again, we don't know for sure. What the battery life's like. No one's used it yet. Nobody's been playing around with it or reviewed it or anything like that. But the fact that it has even bigger battery than the Key One, with the same processor in it, with the same optimization that BlackBerry puts into BlackBerry Android, we're pretty certain that we're going to get some amazing battery life out of this device. So, again, we don't know what's coming of it, but we can only expect that the BlackBerry Key One BlackBerry Krypton is going to have this amazing battery life to it. So, we'll find out more as time goes on. Again, October is when the device will be launching. So, October is right around the corner, so not too far away. So, thank you guys for joining. That's it for this week's episode of the Bear Report podcast, episode 67. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube. For those who have done so, if you're listening live or listening to us on the podcast applications, thank you guys for tuning in. Go ahead and subscribe to the bearreporter.com YouTube channel. If you are watching, give us a thumbs up. Definitely helps us out in YouTube world. If you're listening via your favorite podcast app, go ahead and give us a rating or a thumbs up there as well. And make sure you subscribe. That way you're notified anytime we put up any new podcasts. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll be notified anytime we put up a new video in the Bear Reporter world. We have a ton of videos coming down the pipeline too. I've been working pretty hard on getting these videos up, but thank you for tuning in for this week's episode. That's it. BlackBerry Brad out.